Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Today we are going to do a playthrough of Village Attacks. I'm still having the jury out on this game on if I like it or not. It's one that I think has a lot of potential. However, there's a lot of rule ambiguities, so I do apologize if I do anything wrong. I've scoured through Board Game Geek as well as watched the Gray Board Gamers playthrough, and I think I've got most things right. But we will see. This game did actually kickstart. I think there's a second edition in 2018, and there's a whole new part that's supposed to come out. That is not this. This is the first edition of the game. I was able to obtain a copy of a first edition. Really want to show you to see if you like it. If you like tower defense, I think you will. Let's go ahead and jump into our setup and then start our playthrough. The base game comes with 10 scenarios that you can play. However, the first 5 I would consider more as intro scenarios. They're slowly giving you more of the rules. So we're going to start at scenario 6. Now, I am not going to play with 2 of the optional rules. One of those is the troll. I don't really like the troll. We're not going to play with the troll. I don't find it enjoyable. I also don't find enjoyable the day-night mechanics, so we're not going to play with that either. We're just going to play with the regular rules, not the optional rules. We're going to play scenario 6, dinner time. And the objective of this game, we are actually the monsters that are protecting the castle heart from the blasted villagers. So it's kind of fun. It's a nice, unique twist. Though the heart of the castle ties the monsters that live within to the world, other forms of sustenance are often required, and the man has often been the prey of the creatures within. The assault upon the castle began like many others had before, but little did the villagers know that it was feeding time, and they were ambling right into the maw of evil. You can see up here our objective is to drag 4 peasants to the kitchen. You can imagine what we're going to do there. We're probably going to do some cooking, maybe with them, maybe cooking them. I don't know. We'll see. Our special conditions for this game, you can see here, village morale is infinite in this scenario. So normally what you're trying to do in this game is you're normally trying to reduce the morale of the villagers to 0. Nah, that doesn't matter in this one. Villagers will keep spawning until the objective is complete. Villagers always spawn at tier level 1. All town hero spawn cards spawn a town hero. You'll see that in the playthrough. The scenario ends when 4 peasants have been taken to the kitchen, so that's all we've got to do. Just bring 4 of them. Knocking out a peasant costs 1 of these type of symbols. You will only carry 1 peasant at a time. So our goal is to knock out 4 peasants, bring them to the kitchen, and then we win the game. Here we have the picture of the map that we have out on the table. This is the kitchen. They don't really say that in the rules. K1 is the kitchen tile. So we have to knock out a peasant and bring them all the way over to here. While carrying a peasant, place a slow token on a single movement slot on your dashboard. You'll see that in a second. The peasant is considered delivered as soon as you enter the kitchen. The miniature is removed from play immediately and any movement restrictions are lifted. 1 experience is gained for delivering a peasant. Place these miniatures to the side so you can keep track. During the villager phase, do not spawn villagers at the blue spawn point. However, each time that a peasant is delivered to the kitchen, immediately spawn a town hero to the blue spawn point. And you can imagine the town heroes are like souped up villagers. I can at any time slay the peasant that I'm carrying and remove the slow token by spending 1 of the claw symbols. If a monster is slain while carrying a peasant, the peasant is placed in the monster zone and activates immediately. We also have 2 rooms that have conditions. So the armory, A1, that one states that villagers will deal +1 when attacking from this zone. So not into the zone, but from that zone. And the courtyard monsters suffer 1 damage and burn if they end their turn in this zone, probably because there's too much light. Looking at our board here, we will see that villagers will spawn from this spot and our spot way over there. This is where the town hero will spawn from every time we drag one of those peasants all the way over to here. We have our courtyard right here, and we have the armory over there. They're going to be chucking things at us, those jerks. They get +1 to their attacks when they're from there. We have our dashboard over here. There's lots of different things here. We've got our castle heart. This is how we lose the game. This is the only way we lose in this scenario. If ever the castle heart, which is where the villagers are trying to go, ever goes down to 0, we automatically lose. Normally, if the village morale was pushed all the way down to 0, we would win. However, we don't have to worry about village morale. They're just going to keep coming until we feed enough. Our village event, so this is our event deck. I've just shuffled that up. We're ready to go. If you're playing with the troll, one of the top 4 cards would be a troll card. We're not playing with the troll. Our village events here, we're going to increase that dial during the village phase. equal to the amount of monsters that we're playing with. We're playing with 3 monsters, so we're going to increase that by 3 each round. When it hits the 5, we're going to have a village event. So we'll draw this one and we'll see what it does. And then we'll do one at 5, 10, 15, and 19. Down here, we have a nice little area to place our traps that we can buy. So let's go ahead and grab our first trap. We'll flip it face up and put it here. We have a fire trap. This one deals 3 damage and town heroes suffer burn. So we can buy this if we use a range symbol die and we're in a room that we can put it into. The symbol on the far left is the corridor symbol. So if we're in a corridor symbol or in a small room, we can place that fire trap. And the symbol to the farthest right, that red one, that means it will affect all villagers. Doesn't matter what type of villager is there. When that activates, it could deal damage to any of them. Next, I'm going to set up our town hero deck. Now, there are 5 different types of monsters. They're demons, mythics, arcane, cursed, and undead monsters. Each town hero has a nemesis of that specific type. So the gypsy, it's an arcane. That means it'll deal 1 additional damage to them. It also means that they're going to always try and attack that arcane or whatever the nemesis monster is first, if possible. So what you need to do when you make your town deck, you need to have 1 of each type of monster. And then if you have more heroes, so I have 2 of each here, you can do that and have a town hero deck then of 10, but I should always have a set of 5. So if I want to put more town heroes in, I need to put 1 more of each type in there. So I always have an equal number of types of town heroes. Because I'm playing a 3-monster game, I'm not going to have an undead type, and I'm not going to have a demon type. So that means that those 2 won't have a specific type of enemy that they're going to go for, but that's okay. That's just how it works. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this up, and then whenever we spawn a town hero, we'll flip that top one over, and we'll cry a little bit, because those town heroes are obnoxious. Enough about the good guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at our monsters we're going to play. So our first one is our Lich. Our Lich here is our Decimator. We can have 1 Decimator and 1 Guardian in our group. The rest of the monster types should be a support type. Now, that's not a requirement. That's just what they recommend, and that's how I'm going to play. So I've got 1 Guardian, I've got 1 Decimator, and 1 support. So our Lich can do a lot of damage, generally, unless Baron's playing it. I just played this with Baron, and he couldn't seem to hit the broadside of a barn. But, you know, it's Baron. What you're going to see up here is this tells us the amount of experience we need to level up. So every time our Lich gains 5 experience or more, he's going to immediately level up, and he can take one of these 3 tokens and put it onto his board. He starts off with 1 special ability, the Soul Arrow, but then he could potentially level that up to a level 2, or he could learn Zombify, put that here, or if he had Zombify, he could power it up and flip it over. So each time you hit that XP level, you're going to gain another one of your special abilities. Each of the monsters have 3 special abilities with a lesser side and a greater side. Our Lich's special ability is the Soul Arrow. So he has to use a magic die. So what you do in this game is you're going to roll your dice, and it's a dice placement game. So he's going to have to place a magic die here. Then it says your first, and that's a range symbol. So if ever he rolls this range symbol, which is what Barrett could never seem to roll in our game, if you roll that range symbol and you use it, your first one can target any zone. So that symbol means you don't need line of sight. Line of sight in this game is very simple. You can see as far as the eye can see straight ahead. You can't see around corners. Nice and easy. But if he wants to do a point of damage, he can do a point of damage anywhere he wants on the board if he has slotted a magic here. Now, over here, this area, this is where you can place dice for potential defense. A shield will block up to 2 points of damage from a single source. There's also the retaliate symbol. The retaliate symbol says, I'm going to take damage, whatever you do. But whatever damage you do to me, I'm going to do back to you. So you can slot those in the defense area. Movement, you can use any type of symbol for the movement, except for the one that we still haven't talked about, which is the villager movement symbol. And I'll talk about that in a second. But you can use any other type to put here simply to move. You can move 1 zone. And then finally, you can reserve dice for the next round. So let's say I wanted to reserve a couple range attacks. So I can reserve, and you can see for the Lich, you can reserve 3 dice. I can reserve those so that the next round, what I would do is instead of rolling those dice, I would just roll these 4, and then I'd have those 2 symbols ready for me to use. The final 2 symbols on the dice, this one lets you do damage in your current location, 1 damage, and then anytime that you roll that symbol, you immediately have to use that die and you move the farthest villager from the castle heart 1 space towards the castle heart. Because remember, that's their goal. They want to take out that castle heart. You can also see up here, our Lich has a total of 6 health. If ever you have a total damage equal to your health, you're removed from the board. The next round when it's your turn, you'll spawn back at the Castle Heart. Because you're a monster, you can't die, but you will deal 2 damage to the Castle Heart when you spawn. So that means you're more likely to lose the game. So don't go killing yourself too often. Our second monster, and one of my favorites, is the Vampire. So the Vampire has Vampirism and Bat Form, which are great. He also has Regeneration. At the end of the round, remove 1 damage from your dashboard. So he can take damage and heal it up. He needs 6 XP to level up. He has 8 health. He can have up to 2 defense. Unlike that Lich, who can only have 1, he can reserve up to 2 dice and move up to 2 spaces. Finally, we have our Guardian, the Dullahan. I love it. He's holding his head. Okay, he has 1 ability to start with. He's got 10 health. He levels up at 7 XP. He is somewhat unstoppable. He can stun a single peasant or hunter in every zone that he enters. So as he moves through zones, he can just stun people. Totally awesome. He can have up to 3 defense dice. He can reserve 1, and he can move up to 2 spaces. Now, if ever you pick up that peasant to move, you're going to grab a slow token, and that slow token is going to be placed in your movement slot. That means that now you can only move once per turn. You can only move 1 zone. It's harder to move because you're carrying that unconscious peasant. Blasted peasant. The game comes with this nice coin. You'll go ahead and give that to whoever's going to be the first player. I'm going to have the Dullahan be first player, followed by the Lich, followed by the Vampire. There are 3 types of villagers in this game. We've got peasants, which is what we're looking for, so we just need to bonk one on the head, bring it over to the kitchen, and do that 4 times. We've got the hunters. Hunters are particularly good at attacking a specific type of monster. So when you start the game, you're going to have 5 hunters in the supply that match the color of each of the active monsters. So I have 5 blue, 5 purple, and 5 red. The final villager type were those town heroes. So to start the game, we need to spawn a monster at each of those spawn points. So the one on the left side, we'll flip this over, we're going to spawn 4 peasants. Okay, and then the second one, we will have 2 hunters. Now, what you do to determine which type of hunter it is you're supposed to grab randomly one of these 3 tokens. So you grab a token that matches the color of each of the monsters, and you randomly grab them out of this bag. However, that's hard to do in our playthrough, so I'm just going to roll a die, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6 will be our different monsters. Our Dullahan is 1, 2, our Lich is 3, 4, and our Vampire is 5 and 6. So of 4, it's of course going to be Lich Hunters. We have 4 peasants over here. You can see they have no base. They don't have any specific special abilities. They're just kind of silly, running towards the Castle Heart though. They're kind of annoying, kind of silly. Our hunters, on the other hand, they have a base that matches the color of the specific monster type that they have +1 to their attacks because they're specifically good at killing liches. So I have 2 of them over on the far right side. Now, there are different sculpts for all of these. So you're going to see there's different peasant sculpts, there's different hunter sculpts. None of them mean anything different. That's just to provide variety. The way you can tell that they're different are their bases. So our objective is clear. We need to protect the Castle Heart while killing as many villagers as we can and getting some of these peasants all the way down to the kitchen. That's a far ways away, but I have an idea. The Vampire is pretty good at moving once I get the bat form, so hopefully we can utilize that. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the playthrough. Here we have the phases of the game. So first you're going to have the monster phase. All the monsters are going to activate. You roll your 6 dice. You can do all these different actions. You can move, you can attack, you can activate abilities. You can interact with objectives. We don't really have any in this scenario. And we can place traps. After all 3 of our monsters go, then we'll move to the villager phase. We first will advance the village event wheel and draw an event if needed. Then, starting with the zones closest to the Castle Heart, villagers attack and then move. Then we do traps, all the traps will trigger, and then we spawn new villagers. Then we'll do our cleanup, remove all expired tokens and cards from play, deal 1 new trap, and then pass the first player coin over to the Lich. Let's go ahead and start off with our Dullahan. So we'll go ahead and roll our 6 dice. Now, before we do that, just so you understand, if ever I roll 3 or more of the same symbol type, I can take those dice and re-roll them. And I can re-roll them, and then, let's say I re-rolled that. Now look, I have 3 or more of the villager activation dice. Well, I don't want that. I can pick those up and re-roll them. Looking here, I don't have 3 of a kind of any symbol. So that means I can't re-roll any of these dice. There is one thing to note. If I have any die that's in reserve, and let's say I had this ranged attack in reserve and I rolled 3 more range attacks and I wanted to re-roll them, I would then have to re-roll the one that I have in reserve as well. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and do our real roll. Well, right off the bat, that's a pretty terrible roll. We've got lots of defense, we've got a retaliation, and we've got 3 village activation. Yeah, I don't think I really want that. So I'm going to pick those 3 up and give them a re-roll. Okay, so I've got 2 retaliate, I've got a magic. I don't have any attack here. At this point, I kind of feel like Barrett. This is what he rolled all night long when we played this. The first thing we have to do immediately, and this is what Gray Board Gamer did incorrectly, you can't choose when to use this die. Because I rolled a village activation die, I have to activate a villager immediately. We need to find the area that has a villager that's the farthest away from the castle heart. These peasants here are only 1, 2, 3 away. Those hunters are 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So the hunters are what we're going to activate. In that space then, let's say there were hunters and peasants, we always have to activate the lowest leveled villager first. So if there were peasants and hunters there, the peasant would be activated first. With these activations, none of the enemies are attacking. All they're going to do is move 1 space. They're always going to move towards the castle heart. This means one of these hunters is going to jump into this room. Why that matters is, first of all, they're getting closer to the castle heart, but these hunters also have a range of 0 to 1. So they can attack any monsters in their space or in an adjacent space. So now this hunter's closer to getting to the castle heart where it can attack the castle heart or attack us. If our Dullahan had any damage or any status effects and he was in the castle heart like he is, he could spend 1 magic die to either heal 1 or remove a status effect. I don't have any of that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use both of these here to move 2 spaces. And then, since I can and I might as well, I'm going to slot all 3 of these. So I have 2 retaliate and 1 shield just in case. Remember, the shields block up to 2 damage. The retaliate, we just deal damage back to whatever villager has attacked us. I think I'm going to have our Dullahan move 1, 2, standing here, ready to take on those peasants. That's going to end his activation. Let's move to the Lich. Let's see if our Lich can roll any better, huh? Well, looking here, this isn't terrible. The first thing we're going to have to do is move 1 villager. Once again, the farthest villager away from the castle heart is this other hunter, so now both hunters have moved 1 space up. We're then going to slot this magic die here so we can use our soul arrow. Your first range attack can target any zone. So then we're going to use this one to target any zone. I'll show you that in a second. Then what we're going to do is we're going to move 1 space. Yeah, let's do 1. We're going to move 1 space with our shield die here, and then we're going to reserve both of these. With the soul arrow attack, we are going to attack and destroy 1 of these hunters. That hunter is toast. That means we're going to gain 1 experience. You get 1 experience for every peasant and hunter that you defeat. You get 2 for every town hero you defeat, or 3 if that town hero matches your specific type of monster, because you feel extra special when you kill one of those. So our Lich needs 4 more to be able to level up. We're then going to move our Lich here, and he'll end his turn there. Also, normally when you kill one of those villagers, you decrease the morale. But remember, this game has unlimited morale, so I'm not going to even worry about it. We'll roll this up for our vampire. That actually doesn't look like a terrible roll. Not much we can do about it anyways. I don't have 3 of anything, so we're going to keep it. First thing we have to do, move a villager. Now, if we look here, the peasants are 1, 2, 3 away from the castle heart. That hunter is also 1, 2, 3 away from the castle heart, so you always go for the lower level enemies first. So, peasant's going to go first. He's going to move into the same spot as our Dullahan. He doesn't know what's going to hit him. We're going to have our vampire go ahead and do 2 movement with both of these. Then he's going to use this. Now, he could just bonk that peasant on top of its head, because that's where he's moving, towards that peasant. But instead, what he's going to do is kill the peasant with that. That's going to gain him 1 XP. He's going to kill another peasant with this one because that gives him a range attack of 1. And then he's going to use this one to buy a trap. The 2 move allows us to move into this same zone here as the Dullahan. The 1 damage means we're going to take out this peasant. That will gain him that 1 XP, 5 more, and he's going to level up. Then the 1 range attack, because he can attack at a range of 1, he's going to take out 1 of these peasants. So that's going to give him another XP. That's a total of 2. I really want him to level up as soon as possible. I want his bat form. And then finally, we're going to set our fire trap. We're going to set it right here. They have these cool 3D trap miniatures. I think they look pretty dang awesome. I've placed that trap there. I can do that because that is a corridor. That's a corridor tile. I could have done it in a corridor or in a small room. That will now end our vampire's activation, and now we're going to move to the village phase. First things first, our village event tile will move up by 3. Remember, our first event will happen at 5, so it's going to happen next turn. Now, all the villagers are going to attack first, then try and move. So they're both 3 away from the castle heart. Let's start over here. Our peasants have a range of 0. They don't find anything they can attack here, so instead they march themselves into a trap. They don't know it, but that's what's going to happen. They're going to get fired by that thing. This hunter over here has a range of 0 through 1, so he can attack here or here. There's still nobody there, so he won't attack. He'll just simply move. But now he's in the armory. His attack is +1. If he attacked now, he would hit our lich, and he'd hit our lich for 1 damage normally, +1 because he is the nemesis of that specific type of hunter, so that's 2, +1 because he's in the armory, so that's 3. So we got to take this guy out. Now, all traps will trigger. A trap will trigger only if there's a villager in that space. It doesn't matter if that trap is only for a specific type of villager. If there's any type of villager, it's going to activate. So sometimes there's traps that will only hit heroes. And let's say a peasant goes in there, well, then it goes off and it's useless. This one, though, hits any type. It deals 3 damage. There are 2 peasants there. They're both gone, and this is off the board. If there's one thing that we know about humans is that they're persistent as heck. So even though we just took out a bunch of humans, they're still going to keep spawning. So this first one will be the one by the Dullahan. And we've got 3 more peasants. And then the one that's over by that hunter, we have 2 more hunters. Let's see what type. We'll roll our die, and it's a 4, so that's the lich again. Apparently, we've got lots of arcane hunters here in this area. That lich is pretty pissed about that. But 3 more peasants. Maybe we can bonk one of these guys on the head. Or gals, I guess, because these ones are gals. Let's go ahead and draw our next trap card. We have a chandelier. That can go into large rooms that deals 2 damage and villagers retreat 1 zone. That's kind of cool. That hits all different types. It drops on their head. That's amazing. And then if there's anything else we need to clean off of the board that's only 1 round, we do that at the cleanup phase. Okay, now we'll move to that next round. Our lich will be our first player. Our lich had 2 dice in the reserve. I think I'm going to take this one and re-roll it, but I'd like to keep the range attack. So we're going to leave that one. We're just going to roll 5 dice. We'll give our dice a roll, and that is a pretty nice roll. First thing we're going to do is activate this one. But look at that. We've got a total of 4 range attacks and a magic. Once again, these villagers are the farthest away, so these arcane hunters are going to move 1 space closer to that lich. That may be an arcane hunter next to our lich, but he doesn't care. Range attack, boom, done. Just took him out, gained 1 XP. That'll be his 2nd XP. Remember, we only need 5 to level up. Then, let's go ahead and use this magic die to move. We'll move ourselves into this small corridor. We'll then go ahead and use both of these range attacks here to take out 2 more peasants. That's 2 more XP. We have 4. We're 1 away from leveling up. And you know what? I'm pretty sure I forgot the range attack that was in our reserve. Let's take out this villager. That's going to get us 5 XP. We'll immediately discard the 5 XP and level up. Here we have our 3 options. The Soul Arrow. Your first 2 ranged attacks can hit any zone. We have the Soul Harvest. Your zone suffers damage equal to half the number of villagers in the zone rounded up. Oh, and we have Zombify. Move all peasants in target zone 1 zone in any direction. Yeah, I think I'm going to start with that Soul Harvest because we can use that to get more XP and to level up. Notice how this one is on its darker colored side. That's because it would be a level up of the one we already have. So we'll still have the Soul Arrow, and now we have the Soul Harvest. Our Vampire will be next to go. We'll roll up our dice. Ooh, that does not look great. I've got 3 shields. Let's go ahead and re-roll those 3 shields. I don't even know what I want because we just killed all those peasants there. I'm going to have to keep that. I'm going to have to activate 2 of the villagers. Well, there's only 2 villagers left. We'll move this one and this one into here. We can move up to 2 zones, so I think I'm going to use these 2 dice as our 2 movement. 1, 2. We're going to move into this room. Then we have our basic melee attack for 1 damage. We're going to take this guy out. That's going to gain us a 3rd XP. We're half the way to leveling up. And then finally, we'll slot this Retaliate right here. Last to go will be our Dullahan. Let's see what he gets. Lots of activations. He has to keep it. So he's going to have to activate the 1 villager that we have left twice. Oh, wait. What am I saying? Look at this. I've got 3 Retaliates. Let's go ahead and re-roll all 3 of these. And, okay, I think now we have to keep what we rolled. With those 2 villager activation dice, we're going to have this 1 hunter run all the way over to here. And then you know what's going to happen to him. We've got a ranged attack here for our Dullahan. he's just going to turn right over here, shoot that guy, takes him out, gains 1 XP, and we have no villagers on the board. He's then going to use this magic die simply to move 1 space into here. We'll go ahead and reserve the 1 damage here, and we have 1 more retaliate. We'll put it here just in case. Now let's move to the villager phase. First things first, we're going to have our villager event. We're going to go up to 6. That means we're going to activate this, which means we're going to draw a card, and our next one is at 10. Our first village event will be Beset on all sides. Spawn 2 peasants at every spawn point. That means now we have 2 peasants over here with our Dullahan. Good thing I put on that retaliate. We've got 2 over here because I believe that it would include that spawn point. I don't actually know. And then the one way over there, we've got 2 peasants. So now what's going to happen is they're all going to attack and then move, starting with the one all the way over there. Since there are no enemies in this space, they're simply going to move forward 1. Same with this one. There's no enemies in this space. They're going to move forward 1. Over here, these 2 peasants are going to attack this Dullahan, and the Dullahan does have a retaliate. So the Dullahan's going to take 2 points of damage, 1 from each of those villagers. For one of those villagers, he's going to spend that die and deal 1 damage back to him. So this peasant is toast. That's going to gain him a 2nd XP. So now he has 2 total XP. Then this peasant is going to move over here where the lich is. Now we'll move to spawning. We'll start where the Dullahan is, and he's going to gain 4 more beautiful peasants there. And then the one that's on the other side of the board, we have our first hero. So you see how this card, we're at tier 1. You can see how this card, there's a plus here. Normally, well, I shouldn't say normally, on other scenarios that don't say that the town hero card always spawns a hero, you just draw the next card, unless you are at tier 3. For this scenario, though, every time you draw this card, you spawn a town hero. Here's our town hero stack. Let's go ahead and flip it, and we have the bounty hunter. Okay, our bounty hunter has 4 health. It'll move 2 each round. It attacks for 4 at a range of 0 through 2. Holy moly. And it has a dead eye. Attack damage is divided evenly among all targets within range. Okay, but once we do kill this bounty hunter, she's worth 2 XP. Unless our vampire can kill her, she'll be worth 3 XP. But remember, if she attacks the vampire, she'll deal +1 damage to him because that vampire is her nemesis. Here we have our bounty hunter, and I've got to say, if I decide to keep this game, these minis will be awesome when they're painted. I think they look really cool, and the heroes look really cool. We also have our 4 peasants over here. What's nice is these 2 peasants here, we just need to bonk one on the head and bring them over here. I might have one of our characters do that this time. Because remember, that's our goal. That's how we're going to finish this. We'll draw our next trap. Oh, I love the mimic chest. It deals 3 damage, and damaged town heroes are stunned. So if a town hero comes over, like, oh, look, it's a chest. Let's go get it. Because, you know, we always want treasure. Boom. Just stunned. We'll now move our first player token over to the vampire. All right, vampire, let's see what you can do. Okay, we've got 3 retaliate. I'm definitely going to re-roll the 3 retaliate. And, oh, actually some range. That's not bad. First thing, though, as always, we're going to activate a villager. And, of course, the villager that's farthest from the castle heart is the town hero. It's going to move into here. Ugh. What I'm going to do with our vampire this time, I've got 2 ranged dice. I can attack at a range of 1. I'm going to kill both of these peasants. Done, done. That's going to gain me 2 more XP. I'm 1 XP away from leveling up. Then I'm going to use these 2 here simply to move 2 spaces. 1, 2. And then I'm going to do the special effect with the claw one to conk this guy on the head. And now I can drag over to the castle. And by the castle, I mean the kitchen. However, because I'm doing that, I have to place this right here. That's the slow token, and that now means I can only move 1 time per turn. That's why I want to get bat form. Next is our Dullahan. He has this in his reserve. He's going to keep those claws. Let's see what he gets. Oh, he's got some range. He's got 2 activation. Yeah, I can't do anything about it. I just got to deal with it. With the 2 villager activations, we have a tie for distance between these peasants and that town hero. Remember, the lower on the totem pole gets to go first. So 2 of these peasants are going to move here, which actually is kind of nice. Our Dullahan then is going to go ahead and use 2 of his range attacks here. Use both of those to take out 2 peasants. That's going to give him 2 more XPs up to 4. He's then also going to use this symbol to go ahead and capture this villager. Then he's going to use this shield to move one space. He still has one slot open after capturing a villager. Now, there is another villager that's in this space. Whenever there's villagers in your space, you can only move out as long as your health is greater than the amount of villagers that are in that space. Well, there's one villager here, and he has 8 health. So there would have to be 7 other villagers here to stop him. Yeah, he's going to be able to move out. That one peasant's probably too scared to do anything anyways. So he's going to move here, but that means we now have 2 villagers captured. We can slowly move them over to the kitchen, hopefully. I'll go ahead and slot that slow token so that we remember he only has 1 movement. All right, the final one to go is the Lich. We'll roll our dice and 3 range attacks. I think I'm going to keep that and the magic. Ooh, this is good. All right, Lich, let's have some fun, shall we? First thing we're going to do, we're going to have our soul arrow. We're going to go ahead and use this and destroy the one peasant that's in the same spot as our vampire, helping him out. You're welcome, vampire. 1 XP for that. Then we have a villager in our location. We're going to take out that one in our location just with this. That's going to give us another XP. Then we're going to use this one to take out the one that's in the adjacent spot for us. That's 3 XP. And we're going to reserve both of these. Because look at this. That's another ranged attack anywhere we want if need be next round. This means our Lich is only 2 XP away from leveling up again. I love it. Now we're going to move to that village phase. We're going to increase our village dial from 6 to 9. Next time we're going to have our next village event. And our only villager that isn't monster food is this town hero, our bounty hunter. Someone paid them a lot to come here. She has a range of 2, so she can attack up to here. There's no monsters. So then she's just going to move. Based upon her card, she moves 2 spaces. Once again, always trying to go towards the castle heart. 1, 2. Here we have our priority list, so you can see it. We have Nemesis, so they always go for their Nemesis first, monster of the same type. Then it's the castle heart, then it's monsters in their zone, then there's monsters in adjacent zones. We'll now draw for spawning, and we have 3 of our hunters. We'll figure out which type in a second, and 3 more peasants. So the hunters will come out right by the Dullahan, and the peasants now will be the ones that are farther away. We're also, just because we're sitting here, I'm going to reveal our next trap so you can see it. We have the log ram. What do we get for hunter type? We've got a 6. That means we have a vampire type. So far, I think we're doing pretty good keeping the riffraff out of the castle heart. That bounty hunter is going to be a problem pretty quickly. So we're going to have to try and deal with that this round. We got vampire hunters over here, but our vampire is going to be running away. So that will be helpful. And those peasants over there, we can probably leave them alone. Maybe conk one on the head as they get a little bit closer and use them as some food. Let's start that next round. We've moved the first player token over to Dullahan. Our Dullahan will go first this round. Let's see what we get. You know, that's actually not a bad roll at all. First thing we're going to do, we've got 2 range dice. We can attack within range 1. We're going to hit that bounty hunter for 2 damage. Then we're going to move into that bounty hunter's space. We can do that with this retaliate die. We can move 1 time, and we're going to bring over this 1 peasant. And then we have 2 physical damage that we can do, and that's the 4 damage that we need to take out that bounty hunter. That bounty hunter is toast. We'll gain 2 more XP. I maybe could have left that for the vampire, but it just felt too good with the dice that I had. The final one I'm going to put up as a retaliate right here, just in case, because we have no idea what the town event is going to be. And this way, if we do get attacked, we will attack back. Our bounty hunter then will be placed at the bottom of the town hero stack. So if we do happen to go through all of them, she can spawn again. But for now, we don't have to deal with her. Our Lich will go next. He has these 2 in reserve, and I think I'm going to keep both of them. So he's only going to roll 4 dice here. Looks like I've got to keep them all. And I still don't have any villager activation. That's amazing. I've got to say, the Lich is pretty fun, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and use a retaliate to move. Then we're going to activate our soul harvest. Oh, I need to use this one for that. So our soul harvest, we have to use a magic, and we have to use one of these. And then I think we'll go ahead and do another move, and then a range attack. And then I think we're going to store this one. Let's see if that all works. First, we're going to move into this room. Then we're going to soul harvest. So half of the villagers rounded up are going to die. That means there's going to be 2 here. That's going to give us 5 XP. We're going to level up. Just a second. Then we're going to move ourselves out of here, which we can do because we have 5 health. There's only 1, or I should say 6 health. There's only 1 enemy in here, so we can move out of that region. And then we're going to range attack her, so we gain another XP. So we just gained 3 XP, so we'll have 1 left over, and we'll level up. And with that level up, we're definitely going to upgrade our soul harvest. Oh, and I put it in the zombify spot. Sorry about that. The soul harvest should be down here. Target zone suffers damage equal to half the number of villagers in the zone rounded up, but now we can do it at a range, so we don't have to be in that specific one. We can attack range. Beautiful. Now I'm saving that range die for the next round. Our vampire is next. He's not going to do much his turn, but he is going to move one villager. All that we have left are some puny peasants, so I'll go ahead and move this one here, and we're good to go. Oh, and you know what, you guys? I totally forgot our vampire here is standing in the courtyard. That means he should have suffered burn and taken 1 damage. Now, the 1 damage he could heal because of his regeneration, but the burn, he's going to take a point of damage each turn at the beginning of his activation. So I'm going to put a burn token on him and give him 1 damage for the beginning of this activation. We know that a hero is going to spawn right by us once we get this villager over to the kitchen. So what I'm going to do is spend this retaliate die. I'm going to get a mimic chest. It's going to deal 3 damage, and damaged town heroes are going to be stunned, which is awesome. And look at this cute little mini. I love it. So that's going to be placed in our spot right in the courtyard. So when they go in there, they go, oh, there's a chest! And they go to open it, and it's actually an enemy. Take that, heroes. Then unfortunately, all we can do is move. So we're going to go ahead and use this shield just to move, and we can only move 1 spot. So we're going to move here. We're almost to the kitchen. First one almost done. Then I'm going to go ahead and save this 1 die for the next round. We'll move to that villager phase, and we're going to go past 10. We're going to go all the way to 12, and this is going to go off at 14. I'll just remember that going forward. Oh, here, I've got a 10, and I've got a 4 on this die. And now that means we're going to have to draw a new card, and we have reinforcements. +1 to all peasant and hunter spawns, and that's good or active until we get to 14. Then all we have to do is move our peasants because none of them will attack, and now let's spawn some new ones. Our first spawn will be 4 hunters, so we'll figure out which hunters those are, and 5 peasants. Let's see what hunters these are. A 6, they're also going to be vampire hunters. We've got our poor humans spawned. We'll go ahead and draw another one of our traps. We have the crushing wall. I love the names. They're so fun. Okay, so now we're going to move the first player over to the Lich. This time we're going to be able to drop off 1 of our pieces of food, but that means then a town hero is going to spawn here, blast the town hero, but we do have a trap to help us with that. And we're going to need to continue to bring this guy back over. Oh, and I should remember that when our vampire here ended his turn, although he had a damage from that burn, he's going to heal it because of his regeneration. Our Lich will start us off this round. We have 1 of the range symbols that we kept in reserve, so let's keep that, and we'll roll up our dice. Yep, no, we're going to keep all of those. Well, our Lich is going to have just a little bit of fun. We're going to go ahead and soul harvest. Target zone suffers damage equal to half the number of villagers in the zone rounded up. He's going to target this zone, and that means 2 of these hunters, toast. Then he's got 2 range symbols. Let's go ahead and use the 2 range symbols for just range damage. That's going to take both of these guys out. That means he's going to level up again. He is a boss. Then we'll go ahead and use our retaliate. He's going to move into this room, and then he's going to buy a trap. I think it might be time for the chandelier. We're going to spend this. We can put it only in a large room. It's going to deal 2 damage, and villagers retreat 1 zone. So this is our awesome looking chandelier. I love how they even give you the things so you can have them hang above the sky. So that's in that room, waiting for a villager to show up and die. And I'm pretty sure we're just going to level up our soul arrow. That way, the first 2 range attacks, we can hit any zone at all, which would be pretty epic. All right, our vampire is next. First thing that will happen to him, since he has that burn, he's going to take 1 point of damage. I need him to level up. I have this from last round. I put in my reserve. I'm going to keep it. Let's see what we get. Okay, we have 1 activation. That'll mean one of these poor peasants is going to move 1 space forward. We'll then go ahead and use this shield as our move, and we're going to move and carry this peasant into here. That's our first one. 1 down, 3 to go, but now we need to spawn a town hero. We also will remove our slow token, and we'll also gain an XP, which is just what we need to level up. Here we have our 3 options. So our regeneration, at the end of the round, remove 2 damage from the dashboard. Good, but I don't think we're there yet. We have bat form. Move up to 2 zones per movement spent unhindered. So when we're carrying one of those villagers, I would assume, and if I'm wrong, let me know, but I just feel like it's thematic. We turn into a bat carrying this poor unsuspecting soul 2 spaces instead of 1. So I think bat form for this scenario is going to make total sense. The third one, though, vampirism, is really awesome. Each time you slay a villager, remove 1 damage from the dashboard of every monster in your zone, including yours. Kind of cool. Not ready for that. Ready for bat form. That means we can move. Now I'm going to have to slot a magic there in order to do that. Don't forget, though, we need to spawn another town hero. And we have Scald. Oh, gosh. This guy is going to go against the Dullahan, which, of course, is the guy who's trying to get over to the kitchen. All villagers that attack in Scald's zone deal +1 damage. He has 5 health. He only moves 1. He attacks for 3 at a range 0. Here he is. That's a pretty cool-looking mini. He's got this huge bazooka weapon on his back. Love it. Let's see if we can kill him quick. I have a feeling he likes treasure, and there's a nice treasure chest right here for him. I actually have an idea for our vampire. I'm going to go ahead and place this die here, so I'm going to turn into a bat. Love it. Then I'm going to use this to move 2 spaces. And then I'm going to reserve this range attack, just because I want that. And then with this one, you're going to see what I'm going to do. Our vampire will turn into a bat and fly right over here, and he's going to ping Scald for 1 point of damage. Now, he has 5 health, so he'll still have 4 health remaining. But remember what this guy does. He's going to help us out a little. Our Dullahan will finish off the round. He only needs 1 more XP. Come on, ranged attack. We've got a ranged attack. Oh, we do have 3 of these symbols. Let's definitely re-roll those. Let's see what we get. Okay, we've got some range, some more defense, or retaliate. I like it. First thing we're going to do is use this range die, and we're just going to pick off this lone peasant. Don't know why he's out there. That's going to allow us to level up. We have Unstoppable, stun up to 2 peasants or hunters in every zone you enter. Basin of Blood, peasants may not leave your zone. Kind of cool, you can hold them there. Whiplash, your first melee damage damages a second villager of the same kind. Yeah, definitely going to do the Whiplash. Okay, I apologize, I keep forgetting about this. Our vampire is out here in the courtyard. You can't take another burn, but every time you end your turn there, you take a point of damage. So he would have taken a 2nd point of damage. However, his regeneration would have healed 1, so he still only has 1 point of damage and burn. Okay, so that's for our vampire. And as much as I don't like doing this, I am going to use one of my melee attack dice here. I'm going to move my Dullahan into this space. I'm going to have to end my turn there so I don't forget. I'm going to put the burn token on him, which means every time he activates now, he's going to take a wound, and he doesn't heal. And he's going to take that point of damage, so now he has 3. So we have to figure out, maybe get him to the castle heart to get rid of that burn, or we'll just deal with it. He's got 10 health, so he's got a lot of health. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slot and reserve this melee damage die, and you'll see why. I have a plan for that town hero. And then I'm going to go ahead and place both the retaliate and the shield in our defense slots. And then this range attack I'm not going to do anything with. That'll end the monster activation. Let's move up to 15. And so that means we need to draw our next event card, and we have the Rabble appears 3. Spawn 3 peasants in the closest large room to the castle heart. That's right where the lich is. And we're going to get our next village event at 19. Here we have the 3 peasants that just show up right behind the lich. Great. And they're also going to move out of that room before the chandelier drops on them. So let's start there for village activations. They're going to deal 3 damage to our lich. Our lich only has 6 health. So he only has 3 health remaining. And then they're going to move into the castle heart. He's not too happy about that. Then we have our town hero over here, Scald. Now, there are no enemies here. His range is 0, so he's going to move into this room, and he does not know what he's getting himself into. These 2 sets of peasants are simply going to move up 1 space each. Now, though, just like all those greedy Gloomhaven players where they see a treasure chest and they go for it even when there's enemies around, he's going to go over and go, I'll deal with you guys later. Open this treasure chest. Oh, take 3 damage and become stunned. He only has 5 health, so that's going to put him down to 4 health, 4 damage, so only 1 health. That's perfect because the Dullahan, I saved a die that he can deal damage to him and gain 3 XP. That's the whole reason I did that. But let's remove this chest from the board. It's done its work. We'll then move to spawning, and in that first spot, we have a town hero, another town hero. Why do you want to be a hero? And 3 hunters. And then since we're here, I'm just going to show you our new trap. Oh, I love this trap. The boulder trap. 3 damage to a zone and 2 damage to an adjacent zone. But heroes do dodge it. Let's first see what town hero we're going to have. We're going to have the Alchemist. Oh, she always looks so cool, yet I don't like her. 4 health, moves 2, attacks for 2 at a range of 0 through 1, and her attacks deal 2 damage to all targets in the zone. Everything. I mean, all the monsters. Doesn't hit any of the villagers. They're smart enough to get out of the way. But us, they're going to hit all of us. Of course, it's +1 against the Lich. Wonderful. And let's see, what type of hunter are we going to have? A 5, we have more vampire hunters. Here we have the Alchemist. I think she looks really awesome, yet I think we're going to need to kill her. Look at that. She's got 2 bombs in her hands ready to chuck at us. Well, it seems to me we've got some work to do. We've got a town hero over here. This town hero is so going to die, so we don't have to worry about that one. But we're going to spawn another one very soon once we get our second peasant over to the kitchen. We still need 2 more peasants after that. We have some peasants in the castle heart we have to deal with, but our Lich can take care of them. Let's start our next round. Our vampire will be the first to go. I'm going to give him the first player token. He did save a ranged attack from last round. He is going to take 1 damage because he is burned. He doesn't really care. He's just going to heal it after he goes. Let's roll up his dice. That's not the most wonderful roll that you can have because I'm going to waste 2 of them for villager activations. The 2 farthest villagers are over here, so we're going to move both of them here. I'm going to go ahead and use a magic die here so I can turn into a bat. And I am going to use, let's use this one so we can move 2 spaces with 1 activation. That's going to allow me to fly myself over to here. Then I'm going to use this to bonk this guy on the head, and I'm going to take control of him. He's going to be our 3rd piece of meat. And then we'll go ahead and take this one and put it in our reserve so we have a ranged attack. Finally, we'll regenerate a bit, and we will heal 1 point of damage. And don't forget, we're going to slot this, so now we can only move 1 time per turn. Next to go is our Dullahan. He, of course, is burned, so he's going to take a point of damage. He has 4 damage. He saved this from last round, just enough to take out that town hero. We're going to roll these. He can reroll 3 defense. I don't really want more activations, and there isn't much I'm going to be able to do. So I think I'm just going to leave this. I'm going to slot all 3 of these as defense. I do have to move 1 villager. I will move this villager here. I will then kill that town hero for 3 XP. Perfect. That's what you get for taking a chest. And then I'm going to use this to move 1 space with our piece of meat. While the other 2 monsters are dealing with feeding the beast, I'm going to hopefully have the Lich do some damage here. Let's see. Well, we've got a couple magic, a couple range. This might work. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slot this magic into our soul arrow so I can deal 2 damage to that town hero that even though he's out of our range, doesn't matter. She's going to get pinged for 2 damage. She doesn't even know where they're coming from. That's on our Alchemist. The Alchemist only has 4 health. So 2 damage, beautiful. Then I'm going to go ahead and soul harvest. We can do this at a range of 1 now, and we're going to do that in the location where our vampire is. So I'll do that in a second and show you, but there's 3 peasants there, divided by 2, rounded up. We're just going to kill the 2 peasants that are alive. And then we'll go ahead and slot this in our defense, just in case. This will mean we'll gain 2 XP. I'm playing that there are 3 peasants here because we have not killed this one. It's still on the board. We actually have to spend another die to kill it. So I'm saying there's 3 there. We can kill 2 of them. These 2 are done. If you disagree, let me know. But I think that's thematic. And we siphoned some of the soul of that hero. We'll move to that village event phase. We'll move this up to 18, 1 away from our event. We'll then have the pesky villagers activate. These peasants, nothing here. They're going to move into here and get rocked by the chandelier. All of these ones here, there's nothing in range for our peasants. After our peasants, then we have our hunters. Our hunters can attack at a range of 0 through 1. Still nothing there, so they're also going to join into this room. There's still enough room for them. If ever you don't have enough room in here, we have what's called heaving. Heaving means the lowest leveled enemies get pushed forward, but there's still plenty of room here. Finally, we have our town hero. Our town hero can attack at a range of 0 through 1, so no one is within range, and then it can move 2, so it's going to move into the Lich's space. Then, of course, the chandelier is going to go off. It's going to deal 2 damage, and villagers are going to retreat 1 zone. Now, this symbol means it hits anybody. However, Whenever you have different types of villagers, you always have to hit the lowest type first and then going up the track. So I can't do 2 damage to that town hero to get rid of it. I'm going to have to deal 2 damage to 2 of the peasants there, and then everyone else will get pushed back 1 space. I'm going to say the town hero will jump out of the way of the chandelier back to here. 2 of these peasants it lands on. This one jumps away back into this room. And I have to say, I think this room is ripe for our Lich. Don't you guys think? I think one of my favorite parts of this game are the traps. They're just so fun. So our first spawning that we're going to have is 3 hunters, and our second one is 3 more hunters. So we're going to have 6 hunters. I'll roll our dice twice to see which type. And then we have a new trap, the spike pit, that can only go into large rooms, can hit anybody. And then there's nothing in the rules on this, but I think you can only have 3 traps. So the oldest one, I believe, is this log ram. So I'm going to discard the log ram. Let's roll for the first hunters. We have a 3, so they're going to be Lich hunters. And our second one is a 4. Oh, they're all going to be Lich hunters. Now, that would be 6. We only have 5, so I have to roll for the extra one. And if I roll a 3 or a 4, I'm going to re-roll. Let's see. Okay, come on. That's still a 4. 3 or a 4, I'm going to re-roll. Are you serious? A 6. Okay, so one of them will be a vampire hunter, but we'll have 3 lich ones on the closer left side and then 2 lich ones and 1 vampire hunter on the right side. Our board is certainly getting filled up, but we can now move our first player over to our Dullahan, and we're going to be halfway through the game. Our Dullahan is going to take his 5th point of damage. Ouch. Let's roll up his dice, and it'd be nice if I got all of them in there. 1 fell off. Here we go. I don't have 3 of anything. Nope, but I do have 1 villager activation. The farthest villagers are over here. Since they're the same type, I can choose. Let's go ahead and pick one of the purple ones. Let's then spend 1 magic die, and we have dropped off our second villager, or peasant. And now we gain 1 XP, so that's going to give us our 4th XP, but now we need to spawn a new town hero. Let's see what we get. We get, the jailer. The jailer's tailbro. Look at that, 7 health. Bound in chains. Monsters may not leave the jailer's zone. Deals 3 damage in his space. And he wants the vampire. Once again, the mini looks awesome. Very detailed. It'd be fun to paint if you're really good at painting. Now that I'm no longer carrying that heavy peasant, I can move a second time. So I'll use this one to move. I'm going to save my ranged attack die because I can, and I'm going to slot this retaliation die. Our Lich will be next to go. Let's see what we get. Well, it's certainly not amazing, but it'll do. Our villager that is the farthest away is over here. He's going to move 1 space up like so. And then we're going to destroy stuff. How does that sound? That sounds like a Lich. We're going to use both of these. Target zone suffers damage equal to half the number of villagers in the zone rounded up. We have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 means 4 of these guys just die. 4 damage. We just gained 4 XP. We had 2 before. That gives us 6. We're going to level up. The only one that we can choose is Zombify. Move all peasants in target zone 1 zone in any direction. Kind of a cool ability. Actually, maybe I'm going to use that. I think I might. It's only peasants though. Yeah, maybe that's not worth it. I am, though, going to slot this defense die here. I'm not in a great spot. I wish that I had better dice. I don't have any ranged attacks, so I'm going to reserve this die for next round, and I think I'm just going to move with this one. Because all of these guys hit at a range of 0 through 1, I want to get out of this spot. Plus, now she does not have line of sight on us. She can't see us. Our vampire will finish us up this round. Let's roll up. Do I have a magic? I do. Beautiful. With that magic, we'll put on our bat form, and then we'll go ahead and use... let's use this retaliate. No. Let's use this melee attack so we can move 2 spaces. We'll then put this retaliate up here if we need it. We're going to reserve this here, and let's reserve... Well, let's see. I don't think I can attack anything at range. I don't know if I said this, but because I was burned, I'm going to take a point of damage for that burn, and then I'm going to take another point of damage because I'm going to fly right over here. I'm going to end my turn here, right by the jailer, you guys, right by the jailer who's going to make us stuck there until we take him out. But I'm going to suffer another point, so I have 3 points of damage now. However, at the end of the round, I'm also going to heal 1. So I have 2 points of damage. I moved over here. I can't attack anything, but I'm out of the range of these guys and these guys. So that's going to end my turn. And now the fun part, our villager event, we're going to go to 19, 0, and then 1. I believe it's 7. I'll have to double check that for our next one. So this just goes around and around and around. We'll flip this over. Peasants move +1 zone this until the next time we have an event. They're going to move 2 spaces, those little jerks. We'll start off with this alchemist. She's going to activate. There's nothing within range 0, 1. So she's going to move 2 spaces and come in here with the lich. That's not fun. These guys, there's no one within range. So first the peasant's going to move 2 into the castle heart as well. These guys are just going to move 1 into here, ready to start attacking the castle heart. Then we've got these guys over here. They're just going to move 1 space. These ones over here will move 1, and this guy will move 1. And of course, our jailer. Our jailer has, oh, actually, he's going to move 2. That's actually awesome. So he deals no damage here. He attacks at a range of 0, and then he's going to move 2. Although he really likes our, he wants to attack our vampire, he wants to destroy the castle heart more. So he's going to move here instead so that he can start focusing on the castle heart. So I don't feel great about this, but I don't know if you guys know, I am a tax accountant, and you can imagine it's a busy time. So I think I'm going to call the playthrough here. This shows you how the game plays. I'm actually liking it a lot more this time than when I played with Bernd. Not blaming it on Bernd, although I am going to blame it on his dice rolls. I also think scenario to scenario, not every scenario is as fun as the other. This one is a lot more fun. I'm leveling up my characters. He never got to level 2 on his lich. I am now at what, level 5 of my lich? So much more fun. Can wipe out rooms with him. I love the trap mechanic. I think that's fun. The town heroes are cool with the hunters. There's definitely some rule ambiguity, but you can kind of make it up as you go. And I love these traps. Look at these traps. They just look so dang cool. And if you painted them up, they would look even cooler. Like, look at that boulder. I really wanted to put the boulder out. Yeah, but I will say it might be a bit of a challenge to find. And the second Kickstarter has not been delivered. And I don't know, if you look at the Kickstarter page, it does not look good. So just keep your eye out on this one if you like how this looks. Maybe you can pick up a secondhand copy. But yeah, thank you so much for watching as always. I hope you enjoy the rest of our content on the channel. And make sure to check out our stream channel as well as Meet Me at the Table and Jason from Shelf Stories. We've got tons of content for everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you at the next stop.